You know, fun fact. In all my time that I've ever been on Twitter, I've been on Twitter, I don't know, freaking since January, something like that, January, February, that time frame. Never blocked anybody. But this silly chicken right here, Rich Greenfield, I want to know in the comment section down below if you've been blocked by this guy, because holy Toledo, you come out with an opinion like you have. I just don't know what you're expecting. You don't know what you're expecting with this freaking $1 price target article that you, it's absolute nonsense. Makes no sense at all. Yeah, let's believe it. I believe it. In all the years that AMC's existed, it'll go down lower than its all-time low before it was trying to be shorted into oblivion. Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. Jesus, what in the holy Toledo? What is up, everybody? I'm the Trey. We freaking talk fast and don't skip class, baby. Like I'm by saying that I'm not a financial advisor or expert, so take what I say with a grain of salt. Let's get into the video. So today, my friends, my family, my fellow Gorilla Gang, I want to be talking about a couple different things here on AMC. I want to give a regular, everyday update that we have. I'm going to spend a very brief amount of time on the technical analysis, as well as the Ortex data, the short interest, sitting at about 18.5%, something around that neck of the woods. I want to spend more time on a few different concepts that I've seen circulating around. There's been a mixed kind of opinion, a mixed bag in terms of what people are saying about the stock on any given day. So I'm going to start off here, just give you the Ortex data, nice, plain and simple, come into the technical analysis, and then I want to talk about the overall, concepts that I have laid out for us here. So without further ado, baby, let's get into this video. So Ortex, as you can see here right now, sitting at about 18.74% short interest for free float, doing this thing, right? There's nothing more I can say about that. I wish that there was more information I could give you, but it's just doing this. It's doing the up and down, up and down, up and down, the boring sort of fluff in the middle. This reminds me a lot of back a couple months ago, between March and April, there was this kind of lull of time where AMC was not really being, heavily, there wasn't a lot of change. The price was just doing this, it was doing this. And the internet, the media, Weibo comments, the YouTube videos, everything kind of went down a little bit. And I think the reasoning for that is it's the time to kind of load up your position. If you're long and you're bullish on AMC stock, you're bullish on the short squeeze. That's the situation that we're in right now, right? There was an opportunity a couple weeks ago to get those new all-time highs, but now you're waiting for the setup, right? There's never anything random in the stock market. I'm not expecting to wake up one day and see AMC go from 40 bucks all the way up to 100 in a single day, right? That'd take a 1 in a million chance. You don't expect something like that. That's an addition. That's something that could maybe potentially happen, but you don't expect it. So this is the fluff in the middle, right? You just have to be patient. I don't know why they did that just now. That's weird. But this is just the fluff in the middle, right? So AMC stock, what can you expect in terms of the technical analysis? Does this matter in the grand scheme of things? No. But can this help you make better financial decisions if that's something that you want to do? Yes. We are at a point in which you're looking for a hold over a pretty critical level of support. You've got two right here, kind of a zone, if you would. You've got a zone of support sitting between about $38 and about $42, $41.50 or so. A break underneath that, and you can see lows as much as $32. You need to be mentally prepared for that. I'm not here to bullshit people, right? This is a little bit bearish. It's in a downtrend. You've got two major downtrends that you want to see a break out of, right? 15 MA, you want to see hook back up towards that 200 EMA, meaning that the short-term price action is more bullish than the previous 200 days of price action. And you want to see a break above these two descending levels of resistance. This line right here and this line right here. A break above this level of descending resistance is a smaller scale one, and that's going to bring you more short-term, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 days of follow-up. And this is a more long scale, sort of lower highs sort of resistance level that you got to break out of, right? You have to be mentally prepared for if you do drop down to 32 bucks. That's a scenario. AMC, think about this. If AMC drops down to a certain point, whether it's $32, $30, $25, $20, eventually people are going to see this as this can only drop so low. There's only, so many dollars this thing can really pull back before people step in and it comes back to the moon, man. That's as simple as it gets, right? It's going to go where it's got to go as long as all of the sentiment, all of the short interest, and all the, the basic hypothesis behind the short squeeze are still there, which I do believe they are. Patience. I'm telling you, this is not a BS play. There's no way to say it other than you have to be mentally strong. You should not play with money that you cannot afford to lose if you're playing this stock. I do believe the short squeeze will happen, but nobody out there can guarantee you anything in terms of date, price, when this will happen, what this will go to, right? There's nobody on planet Earth that can do that for you. So just know, right? This is a play. This movement is all about the movement. It's about the message. It's about the people, the why, the stories. That's this entire thing. And look at all the good that's been had out of this, right? That's essentially what this whole message is about. So be ready for that. If it does come to fruition, that's a buying opportunity. I can't promise anybody on planet Earth that $32 is as low as it'll go, but I do believe that if it was to bounce off $32 where you've got a pretty nice level of support, you'd be looking at that $35, $40 range. Bull scenario is a bounce somewhere in this zone of support right here where you've had a little bit of a sell-off. So you're looking for a bounce somewhere in that $42 range, ideally back up to that $50 level of resistance where you saw a little bit of rejection here in the past couple of trading days. Now, I want to spend the majority of the time here today talking about these things because I've seen this popped around a lot. There's a new article that came out with Rich Greenfield talking about a $1 price target, fundamentals, blah, blah, blah. I want to talk about the current, we already talked about the current price action, so that's out of the picture. And then FUD. So, main concept that I want to spend time on, the real price. I've seen this floating around, this idea of AMC is actually trading at thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars or whatever it is, according to the dark pool, the off-exchange trading, whatever it may be. Is that verifiable? Is it? Ask yourself that question. Where have you seen the hard statistical backed, the legally binding data stating that that is in fact what is happening? There's no way to truthfully verify that the price is in the thousands. I'll tell you what the real price is right now. It's $42.04. That's what it's trading on the regular normal stock exchange. Let's just take both scenarios, right? Let's say that it's true and let's say that it's not. If it is true, what does it mean, right? How does it affect us in any sort of way? At best, it's neutral because you will never get to trade this real price if that's what's actually happening, and that's okay, right? We don't need to know the real price if that even does exist. Worst case scenario, it doesn't exist. You're believing something and leading people on to something that could be actual disappointment. We don't need a real price. We don't need a dark pool off exchange price to expect, right? We don't need that. That's not the way that AMC trades. AMC, like any other stock on the market, shows you what the stock is worth on any given time. Even if there was a real price out there, the regular everyday person would not have access to that, and you wouldn't get to benefit off of it to begin with. We don't need to know that. If it does exist, if it doesn't exist, which I'd be inclined to believe it doesn't, right? It doesn't affect us. The squeeze scenario is still the same. Shorts haven't covered. There's failure to delivers. There's a lot of hedge funds out there that are colluding with big media to try and paint the picture that this thing is a dead cat, when in fact, it is not a dead cat. It just is not. You don't, this is just, to be honest with you, I'm just going to be blunt, right? This is tough love. I know there's going to be some people out there that get mad at me for this, but it's fun. It is. And it leads me to, the next point, which is FUD in and of itself. Now, FUD can be something that's not malicious in intent, right? FUD can come from media. It can come from these hedge funds. It can come from the bots and the shows that get paid to spread stuff on YouTube comments, but it can also inadvertently come from people within the community who don't even recognize that they've created FUD. I'll be honest with you, right? No bullshit. Transparency. That's how I like to swing it. There have been times in my 6 months on YouTube where I've made mistakes and I've inadvertently created FUD. It happens, right? But you need to recognize what FUD really is. It's disproving fact through speculation. You can't do that, right? Fear, uncertainty, doubt does not always come from the bad guys. Sometimes fear, uncertainty, and doubt inadvertently come from the good guys, from the people who are rooting for the apes. That's okay. Mistakes happen. We can recognize that. But you need to be able to recognize FUD so you can weed that out, right? Whether it's with bad intent, it's malicious, or if it was an accident, it was inadvertent, FUD is FUD. FUD is FUD. We don't need that in the community. So the reason that I bring this up is because during these red times, during the hard times of AMC, you're going to see that. Anytime you're playing a video game, you run into an enemy, you know you're going in the right direction. I just think of Dark Souls all the time. I'd be like, oh, no map, no problem. I'm just looking for the bad guys. That's all you need to see. FUD is it's a similar situation, except it's not always a bad guy. FUD comes from a variety of different sources, and that's something that you need to watch out for. We never, ever want to disprove fact through speculation. This is hard fact, right? Look at the stock price. Trading at $42.05. That's okay. It's short term. This is very, very microscopic. Think about a couple of weeks ago when it was trading in the 60s. It can very easily get back there, and I firmly believe that it will, based on the simple thesis that shorts haven't covered their position. If you want any sort of due diligence on planet Earth to lead you to believe that AMC stocks got more in the tank, it's this: 18.74% short interest of free float based off of 85% of the exchange reported data. Only the reported data. Who knows how much is actually out there? Who knows what's being malreported on? Do we need to know that? No. It's extra. It's additional. It's the extra icing on top of this beautiful freaking fruitcake, man. But this is fact. We have the short interest there. We know that there's malreporting that takes place. Go look at the freaking FINRA reports. You'll see that. You've seen that Melvin Capital is down an exponential amount of money just based on some of the articles that have come out here. The fact is there. You have it. You have everything that you need to believe in AMC. And if you need anything extra, it's the apes, man. I believe in the apes above anything else that's happening here, simply for one reason, and it's it brought a community of people together that don't give a single fuck about any sort of division, any sort of, you're this political party, you're this gender, you're this race. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. If you want any reason to believe in your brother and believe in your sister that sit on your left and right shoulder out there in the community who are hot on AMC stock and believe in it just like you do. There's so many people out there that are bullish on AMC stock. You've got everything you need. You've got the setup. You've got the fact. And the fundamentals, the reason I wrote this down is because of this article that came out from Rich Greenfield talking about how AMC's fundamentals are going to be dying, even though in this article it says 3.2 million people watch movies at its theaters between July 8th and July 12th. Whatever. Whatever you say, man. But the reason I want to talk about fundamentals is because it's an interesting concept. I think that there will come a day with AMC stock when the fundamentals are actually backed by the stock price. People that are watching this trade right now, people that are watching AMC stock, the whole movement that's happening, recognize fundamentals help set up the trade. And then from there, it's disconnected a little bit, right? It's trading based off of something that's not really quantifiable, which is sentiment, which is short interest, which is XYZ different things that aren't based on their quarterly earnings, their revenue, their box office sales. We've seen that today, right? The box office sales were awesome. They had record numbers in terms of attendance to the theaters. Stock price went down. But with continued efforts like this, week by week by week by week, as AMC continues to show up, the company fundamentals will get stronger. And there will eventually come a pivot point where as long as there's sentimental value towards the stock, there's high short interest on the stock, it continues to do what it's doing, they'll have this pivot point, right? You'll have this convergence, this divergence where the fundamentals all of a sudden match and are backed up by the stock price. That's my ultimate goal for AMC. So you might be wondering to yourself, why didn't the stock price go up today? Because of the fundamentals. It's an addition. It's not something that you expect with this sort of setup that we have right now. You're not expecting fundamentals to push the stock price, but if it happens, it's an addition. The sentiment, the short interest, and the collusion, fraudulence, manipulation that takes place in the stock market, specifically around AMC, is what this whole trade is about. It's simple. It's simple. And as human beings, we want to find any sort of hidden clue, hidden fact that's somewhere in the dirt about AMC stock. I get it. I've been down that rabbit hole, man. I've been down the speculation road for probably tens or hundreds of hours. I've read so much due diligence. Like, I get it. It's so easy. But it's speculation, it's extra, it's things that you don't need to be comfortable with this trade. I'll tell you this right now. These are my parting words, and then we'll wrap up this video. But if you need anything on planet Earth to believe in AMC stock, to believe in the trade, it is the movement. It's the movement, it's the short interest, everything is there. The brothers and sisters, the friends that I've made, the family that I've made around this trade, right? Obviously, whatever money you've got, you have to make your own financial decision, your own financial responsible decision. I'm not here to make anybody's decision for them. But whatever you're comfortable with, man, or woman, right? This trade is about as good as it gets. I've in my entire life never seen anything like this, and I wouldn't give it up just because of a couple red days. I just wouldn't. So that's kind of what I've got for this video. I'm gonna wrap it up with a little bit of a medical, update for anybody who cares. I always put these at the end of the video because I know it's boring, but I found out what's going on with my eyes. So the reason I've had chronic uveitis for 2 years, I got my blood work back, my lab results, and they found something called I think it was HbA something 27 HLA-B. I don't know. It's just an autoimmune disease. So essentially easy fix to some extent. I'll have to deal with uveitis for a long time, probably for my entire life. I'll take a prednisone pill, which essentially will just help with that inflammatory sort of response that I get in my left and right eye. I'll take that for the rest of my life. There might be some sort of side effects that come with that. I know what they are. It's not really that important, but it's a step in the right direction. So getting that inflammation down is the next step in my left eye. So eventually I don't have 2600 vision in my left eye. I'll get that surgery done, get the cataract removed, get the scar tissue broken up out of the lens, and hopefully be able to see again one day. So we're making progress. I'm actually pretty happy with that. I love to know that uveitis wouldn't be chronic, but hey, it is what it is, and sometimes you just dealt the hand that you are in life, and you got to make the best of it. So that's what I've got for you guys. Blah, blah, blah. I know this video. Drop a like and subscribe. I want to do, my friends. Catch you on the next one. Much love. Light taps, baby. And peace.